Before we go into the textbook and read from it and try to consolidate knowledge, let us first get the context in which we understand the entire animal kingdom. All right? Don't get lost in the examples. Examples, stick to, as I always say, stick to NCERT. Concepts we have to build. Each organism has some specific mechanism which will help it survive. So going to the basics of understanding life again, what are the two drives for every organism? There are two evolutionary drives for every organism: survival and reproduction. Survival and reproduction again forms the basis for the organization of animals into different groups. They are not organized into different groups. We have clustered them into different groups for the ease of understanding. So if we look at it, few aspects of all animals we have to consider. One, all the organisms in the animal kingdom are multicellular eukaryotes. So eukaryotic cell organization, eukaryotic cell structure we have already studied. At cellular level there is organized functioning happening by way of organelles, which are clusters of enzymes performing certain functions. That's all. If I say mitochondria as the organelle, mitochondria will have all the enzymes necessary to bring about respiration as a process, that is transforming a particular set of chemicals into high energy compounds. That is what mitochondria specializes in. Part of the glucose metabolism happens in the cytoplasm. Part of it, or predominantly, it happens in the mitochondria. Krebs cycle happens in the mitochondria, and electron transport chain mechanism is also incorporated into mitochondria. So mitochondria is specialized in producing high energy compounds, which will be used for all the metabolic reactions at the cellular level. If I say Golgi complex, what is it specialized in? What will be the enzymatic machinery of Golgi complex capable of doing? What?
Packaging of proteins.
Packaging. So Golgi complex specializes in packaging materials. Okay, then? It is not just a packaging factory, packaging center. Golgi is also a transformation factory. So you have something coming into Golgi, based on what it is, it will be transformed also. It can transform chemicals from one form to another form. So you have production of proteins by translation process, in the protein synthesis process. There is some trigger, DNA is activated, a particular gene gets activated. That gene is transcribed into an mRNA. That mRNA goes into the what? Ribosomes, whether free ribosomes or the ribosomes which are attached on the what? Endoplasmic reticulum, and gets translated into and contributes to the formation of proteins. Now these proteins will go into the Golgi complex. Golgi complex can change that protein, can attach something to it, can remove something from it, alter this protein to make it what it is supposed to be. It can add carbohydrates to it, it can add lipids to it and make lipoproteins. If it is a cell producing antibodies, antibodies are lipoproteins, lipid and protein. So that protein component comes from the translation process. Golgi complex will attach the relevant lipids to that and make it a functional lipoprotein. Packages it, sends it out as vesicle. Now these vesicles, if it is to be used outside of the cell, it is packaged into vesicles. The vesicle will go and fuse with the cell membrane, merges with it, participates in the exocytosis process. Whatever is packaged into that cell is thrown out, into that vesicle is thrown out. As it goes out, based on where it should act, it will act. See, look at the intricate mechanisms that have been devised into it. This is the speciality of eukaryotic cells. All the animals All the animals are eukaryotes. So at the cellular level, all this is going on. All right. So energy, utilization of elements, transformation of elements. There is a book called Alchemist. Have you read it, any of you? The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. No? Nobody has read it? You read it later.
I've heard of it.
You read it? You did not understand.
No, sir, I've just heard of it.
You have heard of it. Okay. You should read it. The Alchemist is a book which, who is an alchemist? You know, chemist. But who is an alchemist? Alchemist is somebody who has the power to transform elements into something. He can transform a metal into gold. He has the art of transforming metal into gold. And he has the art of producing elixir of life, a fluid. Elixir of life is the one which can make you eternal. Which can heal you, which can give you, which can extend your life and all that. And the transformation of any metal into gold is another process. So it is transforming. Let's say you have to transform iron into gold. That is an alchemist's job. He can transform iron into gold. Your body, your cell is an alchemist, no? Transforming different elements and using the different elements and transforming carbohydrate into protein. It's like that only. Carbohydrate can be transformed into protein. Protein can be transformed into lipids. Your enzymes do that. Your body is an alchemist. Your cells are alchemists. How they do it? By realigning and rearranging the elements. It's all elements. If you break it down to if you do the elemental analysis, all carbohydrates are made up of what elements? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. All lipids are made up of, same again, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, basic structure. All proteins have the basic structure. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. These are common to all of those in that respective classes. All carbohydrates will definitely have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. They might have something else also. Some other elements can be added. So that will make it a different structure. But it is still a carbohydrate, but something else added to it. All lipids will still have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, glycerol and fatty acids. Glycerol is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Fatty acid is also carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So, you can add sulfur, you can add phosphorus, you can add potassium, you can add variety of other elements to make it different structures. So, cellular level, all animals are eukaryotic, same. Whether it is the sponges that you study or the most evolved human beings. Everybody is same at the cellular level. Now, what differentiation we should see beyond that? Level of organization. How is the body organized? Now, if you are multicellular, then your nutrition will be heterotrophic. Here, all animals are eukaryotic. All animals are heterotrophic. Correct? All animals are heterotrophic. That means all the animals will eat food. Whether it is sponges or something, you will eat food. Digestion gets completed internally. Why am I saying digestion gets completed internally? Digestion can happen partially outside also. We are not saprotrophic. You are not saprotrophic. But digestion can happen outside the body as well for animals. Like you have seen houseflies. What do the houseflies do? When the house, what is the type of mouth parts houseflies have? Sponging type. Sponging and siphoning type. They can't chew into food. They have to sponge food. So have you seen houseflies doing this always? If you observe, what are they doing? They are kind of cleaning their mouth parts. They are cleaning their mouth parts. It's not that, oh my God, amazing food. Not that. All right. They might be happy also. All right. Houseflies are, the way they eat food is they will vomit digestive enzymes on the food. Now that digestive enzymes will make the food partially digested, soft, and the housefly will siphon it, sponge it. Sponge it and siphon it. Got it? Complex carbohydrates are more tastier or simple carbohydrates are more tasty? Which one is more tasty? Does rice, plain uncooked rice taste better? Or if you have to organize this into the sweetness, in the increasing order of sweetness, uncooked rice, cooked rice and glucose powder. Position them in the order of sweetness. Which one will be the least sweet? Uncooked rice, then cooked rice, then glucose powder. All right? Do you understand why sweets in the local sweet shops are more tastier?
What's their process?
By houseflies. All right? Okay? So, houseflies will be eating them partially. You know how houseflies eat? They vomit, make the food get digested, and they want to take it off. But by that time, that honey cake is taken out by the bakery person and given to you. Housefly is angry. Bloody, I do all the job and you get to eat it. All right. Not only that, houseflies have simultaneous activity at both ends of the digestive tube. It is vomiting and it is defecating at the same time. Even if you consider housefly to be a vacuum cleaner, assuming that it will take back everything that it vomited, which doesn't happen, food that has been tasted by housefly or acted upon by housefly has some additional elements also for you to eat. So, don't eat. Don't eat. It's not that it's housefly, just go, I will eat it. Imagine the same thing with human beings. Imagine that as a human being sitting on the food, doing all the things that housefly is doing, and you are just telling them to get out and you eat it. Horrible. Be very careful about the food. Okay, anyways, that was not the point. Point was levels of organization. What level of organization? Why do you need to have different levels of organization? If you look at a sponge, see again, coming to the basic life processes. For survival, what all is required? For survival, you need energy. You need energy and you need nutrients. You need energy and you need nutrients. Both of that come from food. Because all animals are heterotrophs, they have to take food. They have to eat food and food has to be processed, broken down, converted into absorbable nutrients. And the nutrients are acted upon by the cells to convert them into energy. That is one thing that is required. So digestive process needs to happen. Digestion, absorption, assimilation. All three are interrelated. Digestion, absorption, assimilation should happen. Next is, all cells require, all animals are oxygen dependent. You don't have anaerobic animals. You have anaerobic bacteria. You don't have anaerobic animals. All animals are dependent on oxygen for their survival. So oxygen delivery mechanism needs to be there. Who needs oxygen? All the cells need oxygen. Every cell requires oxygen because energy production, mitochondrial respiration, oxidative phosphorylation happens in the presence of oxygen. Oxygen is required. Though for a shorter period, anaerobic mechanisms are there, but cells are not anaerobic. Extended periods of oxygen unavailability will lead to breakdown of the cell's metabolism, which will eventually lead to death. So oxygen dependency is there. And metabolism is producing carbon dioxide. So there has to be oxygen intake and carbon dioxide, oxygen requirement and carbon dioxide to be thrown out. That is there for all organisms. That is the second process. Number 3, every cell requires nutrients, every cell requires oxygen, every cell is producing metabolic wastes, every cell is producing carbon dioxide. Source to sink, if you consider with plants, if you equate with plants, there is source of nutrients, there is sink for nutrients. Source of nutrients is the digestive process. Sink for nutrients is what? Every cell. Every cell of the body is the sink for nutrients. Source for oxygen is the surroundings. whichever is the organ that is supposed to take oxygen from the surroundings, that is the source. Sink is again every cell. The source for metabolic waste is all the cells. The sink has to be outside of the body through whatever organs that will deliver it outside of the body. So the third important mechanism that is necessary for the body is a mechanism to circulate material within the body. So you need to have a mechanism to process food and deliver nutrients. You need to have a mechanism to manage oxygen and carbon dioxide. You need to have a mechanism to take in oxygen. And you need to have a mechanism to circulate material within the body. These three are overall for the entire body. Then you have waste elimination mechanism, metabolic waste elimination. If we look at human beings, kidneys. Kidneys are specific. They are in their place. They will do what they are supposed to do if blood is delivered to them. Kidney is doing its job. The job of the kidney is beneficial for every organ. But it is not like digestion, respiration and circulation process on which everything else depends. Every cell depends on these three processes. Then as you move higher, you have some control mechanisms controlling all of this. Then the nervous system comes in. All of these are there. So level of organization is how are the cells organized in the body to make sure all of these processes happen to bring about the outcomes necessary. Some outcome is required, no? The outcome of the digestive process is that every cell is getting nutrients. The expected outcome of the respiratory process is that every cell is getting oxygen. The expected outcome of the circulatory mechanism is that all the essential substances are delivered to the cells and all the unwanted substances are picked up from the cells. Where is it coming and where is it going to? That is a different process. So how are the cells organized in a way? Smaller organisms, smaller animals, as you see with sponges, their level of organization is cellular level of organization. So they are all independent. They are just cooperating with each other and ensuring that all these things are going on. If you are surrounded by food, most of your cells are surrounded by food, the cells can take up food directly and pass it on to each other. But if the interaction between the surroundings and the cells of the body is limited, like our body, our skin cannot absorb oxygen directly. It's a keratinized skin. We have keratin in the skin. It cannot absorb oxygen. Gas exchange cannot happen through skin. Though throughout the body we are exposed to the air around us, our skin cannot participate in gas exchange. Even the skin cells have to get oxygen from internally. So we cannot do that. Level of organization is the second thing that we have to be concerned about. When we look at every phylum, you have to look at these things. How are the cells organized? What is the level of organization? Then body cavity, coelom. Coelom is the body cavity. As you keep organizing cells into different tissues, tissues into organs, organs into organ systems, you need to compartmentalize this. You need to compartmentalize this both for physical protection and also for efficient functioning. So coelom is like one big balloon inside the body which will help in compartmentalizing different organs into different positions, keeping them in place and also helping them to create the necessary conditions around them to make it more functional. Heart is a constantly pumping organ. You need to have a tough covering around it. Pericardium, that is also a coelom derivative. Pericardium will ensure that the heart will not expand beyond capacity. So if you are constantly, heart is a pumping organ. If you don't limit the expansion of this organ, when there is more demand, it can load up more and it can pump harder. It can get stretched more. Cardiomegaly can happen. The heart can expand and there is accelerated wear and tear. So to ensure that heart survives its entire duration of existence for the entire lifetime, you need to ensure that it is covered. It is covered and it is protected. It has to be in position. Somebody just, the heart is pumping and moving. If it is not held in position, heart apart from pumping will also have to put effort to stay in position. But this membrane that surrounds it, pericardium, limits the movement of the heart within that boundary, so it need not bother. It need not bother. It's just like, think about driving in the car. Driving in the car, you have to, and it's a very bad road, guard section, too many turns and curves. You have to sleep while the car is, while somebody is driving the car. You're sitting in the seat. You put a seat belt. Situation number one, you put a seat belt and you sleep. Two, you don't wear a seat belt and you sleep. When can you sleep well? With the seat belt or without the seat belt? With the seat belt, because the seat belt will not allow you to jump out of the seat or fall off from the seat. Coelom functions like that for organs. You can sleep without worrying about falling off. Otherwise, you will never be able to relax. You have to hold something. Your muscle is consciously working to stay in position, to keep your body in position. You cannot completely relax. Correct? Similarly, if you are, let's say, you are traveling by train. You are traveling by train in the sleeper coach. In the middle berth and the upper berth, you are less likely to fall down than on the lower berth. Why? Train anyways doesn't shake so much, but if it's a small berth, it's a small bed that you have. If you are in the habit of rolling over while you are sleeping, you might fall down on the lower berth, but you will not fall down in the middle berth or the upper berth. Why? There are rods in between there. Middle berth has two chains, so you have to squeeze through that and fall down. Upper berth has rods. You have to squeeze through that and fall down, but lower berth is nothing to hold you there. So if you are sleeping on the lower berth, you have to be more conscious if you have the habit of rolling over and changing your positions often. Like that. Coelom, body cavity. Body cavity, how well it is developed and how it is organizing the body. And the way the internal organs are arranged. Ours is a tube inside the tube structure. Tube inside the tube means what? This entire body is like a tube. Inside this we have another tube. What is that? The digestive tube. So tube inside tube, telescopic structure. Keep all of this in mind, and then these are all basic structures. These are all basic structures for every organism. And as we look at different phylum, as we look at different organisms, we have to also look at some specialized characteristics they have developed and think, why do they have these specialized characteristics? Like some of them have sting cells. Who has sting cells? Huh? Coelentrates. They have sting cells. Why? Helps them in getting their food. Helps them in getting their food. And all animals can move, except sponges which are fixed. Animals can move. How they have developed their locomotory organs. Snakes don't have legs for movement, they crawl. Why is it that they don't have legs or limbs? Why certain animals have developed a particular appendage? All of those can be answered by an evolutionary exploration. You can explore that evolutionarily and get an understanding of why they should have those characteristics. So it is not just about reading from one end to the other end and remembering things. Why they are the way they are has a reason which is rooted in evolution. We are like this because of the evolution that we have gone through for millions of years. All right. So with this as the context, we will read. Animal Kingdom is one chapter in your book, but it is a course, no? It is a complete course. People can graduate. There are entomologists who do their graduation, post-graduation and doctoral research on insects. Entomology is the study of insects. We have one or two paragraphs about insects here. So everything is a course in itself. So let us try to limit our understanding to the broader understanding that we need to tackle our exams. Strategic preparation. All right. See, There are three aspects you need to constantly keep working on. I'll tell you now because you have been made to go through that. Focus on these three aspects, you will do well in life. Number one, academic excellence. Even in professional life, you can translate that into professional excellence, where you have to learn. Academic excellence is something that you have to achieve. Second, personal excellence as individuals. How strong you are as individuals. Academic excellence is how strong you are as a learner. How well you can learn is the basis of academic excellence. How strong you are as an individual is the basis of personal excellence. Then the third one is exam excellence, or you can consider performance excellence. Exam is a performance challenge. You have to perform, where you will be measured, you will be assessed and evaluated. In a job, there will be performance measurement. So you have to excel in your performance. Performance excellence you can consider. 5 things you have to focus on, which you already practiced for academic excellence. You can change that for professional excellence also. Number 1 is, how do you learn? Learning methods. How to learn is the first thing. I have already taught you that. Level by level, not topic by topic. You go level by level. Multi-level learning helps you build sustainable knowledge. Second, multi-perspective consolidation of knowledge. That is the notes that you have made. How well you organize your knowledge in the form of documents, records, which you can revisit and revise. Because no matter how much you learn, unless you document it and keep it as a record for your quick recall, quick revision, you will not be able to fully utilize that. That is the second aspect of academic excellence. Number 3, in times of a challenge, how quickly you can reach that and recollect. That is revision tools. Number 4, assessment. How well you have designed your own assessment format. Now here, assessment, I keep telling you, don't prepare for an assessment, prepare after the assessment, during practice. Correct? So you do not prepare for something that has to be delivered tomorrow, that has to be tested tomorrow. Your preparation should be continuous. You have to learn to just go and jump into the challenge, even if you have not prepared for it. Go for it. That is the 4th one, assessment. 5th one is post-assessment preparation. What you do after the assessment. We are already late in terms of doing post-assessment preparation intensely. You have to finish your linear notes quickly, do it off, and get into post-assessment preparation. Totally 64 tests you will be 62 tests you will be attempting. Even if you can complete post-test analysis sincerely for about 30 test papers. The first 13 are all the previous papers after NEET came into existence, and another 16, 17 papers. In that you have about 4 or 5 papers which are of a higher difficulty level, and another 10 papers which are of moderate difficulty level, NEET level difficulty. Even if you do post-test analysis for 30 papers, you are well prepared. Alright, by the end of March. So my plan is also to do about 1 paper every day, starting from the first paper. I will also do that. So I will be helping you to do about 20 to 22 papers, January, February, March. This will be the last visit where we will be discussing chapters. January, February, March, 21 days, 21 papers at least we will do. So out of the 30 papers you are supposed to be thorough with, I will help you with 20 papers. So you go fast. You also go intensely into doing post-test analysis of as many papers as possible. Jot down your post-test analysis observations. Now you can go into your reference books. Whatever reference books you have in the library, whatever books you have brought with you, go into the books and learn. All right. So that is the five aspects of academic excellence. You can modify this for professional excellence also. These 5 will serve you for academic excellence even during your MBBS, even during your post-graduation and super specialization. All 3 levels it will help you. The second, studies or your work. But anything you do, you are cleaning your toilet, You should be able to do that with absolute dedication as much as you dedicate to your studies. You're eating food, absolutely dedicated. That's a good mindset to have. All right. So think what kind of mindset you need to have. Mindset is your guiding principle that will drive you. So these are the three things for personal excellence. For performance excellence, two things. Action plan, strategy. You need to have an action plan and you need to have strategy for tackling that. So giving as much time as is required to animal kingdom and nothing more than that is an action plan. So you don't waste time on things which may not be as important. And strategy is that you have to strategically decide what are all the things that you have to focus more, what you should not be focusing more. Because at the end of the day, you have to perform. You have to perform and you have to do well in your exams. So these 10 points, if you are conscious of these 10 points, practice these 10 things for the next 10 years, you will achieve greatness, not success. All right? Because 10 years of practicing on these 10 points will make you capable of achieving greatness, and in your lifetime you will achieve greatness. Academic excellence, how to learn, how to consolidate, that is notes, revision tools, assessment, post-assessment, preparation. Personal excellence, habits, attitudes, mindset. Performance excellence, action plan, strategy. Work on these things. All right. So the next 3 months is the crucial months. You have to practice this. You have to embody this. You have to get all this into your mind. At the end of it, let us assume worst case scenario, nobody crosses 100. Still you will have a great life. Be prepared for that. Don't bother about will I cross 600, will I cross 400, my region requires 400 as the minimum marks. Don't bother about that. Be prepared for the worst, but let your effort be for the best. That will ensure that you will position yourself well. If you are prepared to face the worst, then you are not worried, you are not anxious. I am okay to get minus 180. But I will make sure I will put in the effort which cannot be surpassed. So if I am settling at 600, I'm super happy. If I get 550 and I get a medical seat, still good, not bad. But you have developed these 10 qualities in you. The next step will be aims for your PG. Aims Delhi. Then all of you might be in, some of you might be in AIMS Delhi, some of you might be in PGI Chandigarh, some of you might be in Maulana Azad Medical College, wherever. Life moves on. All right. Okay, we'll read now. When you look around, you will observe different animals with different structures and forms. As over 1 million species of animals have been described till now, the need for classification becomes all the more important. Classification also helps in assigning a systematic position to newly described species. Basis of classification. In spite of differences in structure and form of different animals, there are fundamental features common to various individuals in relation to the arrangement of cells, body symmetry, nature of coelom, patterns of digestive, circulatory or reproductive systems. These features are used as the basis of animal classification, and some of them are discussed here. We discussed all these bases. Levels of organization. Though all members of Animalia are multicellular, all of them do not exhibit the same pattern of organization of cells. For example, in sponges, the cells are arranged as loose cell aggregates. That is, they exhibit cellular level of organization. That means they are by themselves. If cellular level of organization is there, for obtaining nourishment, for digestion, for circulation, for respiration, they are supposed to take care of themselves. They are aggregates of cells, but they also cooperate. Some division of labor or activities occur among the cells. In coelentrates, the arrangement of cells is more complex. Here the cells performing the same function are arranged into tissues, hence is called tissue level of organization. A still higher level of organization, that is organ level, is exhibited by members of Platyhelminthes and other higher phyla, where tissues are grouped together to form organs, each specialized for a particular function. In animals like annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinoderms, and chordates, organs have associated to form functional systems. Each system concerned with a specific physiological function. This pattern is called organ system level of organization. Organ systems in different groups of animals exhibit various patterns of complexities. For example, the digestive system in Platyhelminthes has only a single opening to the outside of the body that serves as both mouth and anus, and hence is called incomplete. A complete digestive system has two openings, mouth and anus. Similarly, the circulatory system may be of two types, open type and closed type. Open type, in which the blood is pumped out of the heart and the cells and tissues are directly bathed in it, and closed type, in which the blood is circulated through a series of vessels of varying diameters, arteries, veins, and capillaries. Symmetry. Animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry. Sponges are the most asymmetrical, that is, any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. When any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is called radial symmetry. Coelentrates, ctenophores, and echinoderms have this kind of body plan. Animals like annelids, arthropods, etc., where the body can be divided into identical left and right halves in only one plane, exhibit bilateral symmetry. See, each of these, you can, let's say, phyla, level of organization. It will sound bad, level of organization, if you write it as abbreviation, it will be LOO, LOO. So we'll write level of organization. All right, level of organization. Then, what other parameters are given? Symmetry. Why only this? Because here, before going into each of the phylum, they have given some parameters which they are considering for classification. There can be many more, but the book gives these many parameters. So let us be very clear about what each phyla is in each of these points. Okay, symmetry, then germ layers. Diploblastic, triploblastic germ layers, then coelom, segmentation, notochord. Okay, coelom, segmentation, notochord. That's all. These are the things given. Write down all the phyla and what each of the phyla is in all of this. This is the table framework I have given you. You make a table based on this. This is how you do. All of them will have some level of organization, symmetry, germ layer, coelom, segmentation, notochord. So in one sheet, you will have a table which will give you a complete comparison of all the phyla on the most important parameters that the book is exploring. Prepares you to answer many questions. So that is how you make notes. You have a list of items to be compared on a set of parameters. You have to put the list of items and the set of parameters on one table and put out the comparative chart there. Coelom, segmentation, notochord. It's there in your book also, the same points there. Write down all the phyla in a sequence. Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, Chordata. All of them in a sequence. Then for each of the parameter, as we read, you will fill up the table. Okay? There is one more table you can make on this for all the different systems or the different life processes: digestion, respiration, circulation, reproduction, nervous system, excretion. All these processes you can write down on the parameters, and all the phyla compared on those parameters also. So 2 sheets will give you an entire thing complete. In that table, if they have any special characteristics, special structure, special organs, you will mention there in a different color in the same box. So you know, for a digestion, somebody has something, radial teeth. Somebody has a radial teeth. Somebody has a sucker in the mouth part. The entire chapter put down into 2 or 3 tables. So, multiple phyla compared on the same parameters, on different parameters. Done. So we will read it again, the basis of classification, and let's see whether you will be able to put the relevant things in the table. Table helps you learn faster. I don't want to give you a table because it's a skill. Learning to make the table is a skill. So as you do it, you will learn to do it and you will have to practice it. Now we will do it. Levels of organization again. Though all members of Animalia are multicellular, all of them do not exhibit the same pattern of organization of cells. For example, in sponges, the cells are arranged as loose cell aggregates. That is, they exhibit cellular level of organization. So level of organization, sponges, you will just write cellular. Notes should be skeleton. You should not add unnecessary English into the notes. You already have level of organization as the heading. So you don't have to mention cellular level of organization in the box. You will just write cellular. Some division of labor occur among the cells. In coelentrates, the arrangement of cells is more complex. Here the cells perform the same function are arranged into tissues. Hence it is called tissue level of organization. Coelentrates, tissue. A still higher level of organization, that is organ level, is exhibited by members of Platyhelminthes and other higher phyla, where tissues are grouped together to form organs, each specialized for a particular function. So Platyhelminthes, organ level. If there are gaps, leave it. We will see as you read. In animals like annelids, arthropod, mollusk, echinodermata and echinoderms and chordates, organs have associated to form functional systems. Each system concerned with a specific physiological function. This pattern is called organ system level of organization. Organ system is everybody else starting from annelids. Right? Then open type of circulation, closed type of circulation doesn't fit into our framework in this. Leave it. Symmetry. Animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry. Sponges are mostly asymmetrical. Sponges are asymmetrical. That is, any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. When any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is called radial symmetry. Coelentrates, ctenophores and echinoderms have this kind of body plan. Coelentrates, ctenophores and echinoderms. So pick the odd one out. Coelentrata, ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, echinodermata. Which one do you pick? Platyhelminthes. Why? All the other three have radial symmetry. Platyhelminthes has bilateral symmetry. That's all. Your question can be anything. Animals like annelids, arthropods, etc., where the body can be divided into identical left and right halves in only one plane, exhibit bilateral symmetry. Right now, whatever examples is given in this part of the book, we will write it. Rest of them, we will see. We will see how to fill up the columns. Diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers, an external ectoderm and an internal endoderm, are called diploblastic animals. Example, coelentrates. An undifferentiated layer, mesoglia, is present in between the ectoderm and the endoderm. So coelentrata are diploblastic. These animals in which the developing embryo has a third germinal layer, mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and endoderm, are called triploblastic animals. Platyhelminthes to chordates. Platyhelminthes to chordates are all triploblastic. Coelom. Presence or absence of a cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is very important in classification. The body cavity which is lined by mesoderm is called coelom. Animals possessing coelom are called coelomates. Example, annelids, mollusks, arthropods, echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. They are all coelomates. In some animals, the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and endoderm. Such a body cavity is called pseudocoelom, and the animals possessing them are called pseudocoelomates. Example, Aschelminthes. The animals in which the body cavity is absent are called acoelomates. Example, Platyhelminthes. Segmentation. In some animals, the body is externally and internally divided into two segments with a serial repetition of at least some organs. For example, in earthworm, the body shows this pattern called metameric segmentation, and the phenomenon is known as metamerism. Earthworm is which phylum? Earthworm? Annelida. So, metameric segmentation. Segmentation metameric in Annelida. Others, we don't know. We'll leave it for now. Alright. You have set the framework of comparison. As you go through the book, as you read the chapter, you should fill up the framework. Okay. At the end of reading the chapter, you know what you have not got for a particular phylum, and that is a matter of further exploration. If you say some parameter you don't know about a particular organism, that you have to explore and find out, so that your comparative analysis becomes complete. Notochord. Notochord is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development in some animals. Animals with notochord are called chordates, and those animals which do not form this structure are called non-chordates. That is, porifera to echinoderms don't have notochord. Only chordates have notochord. What about hemichordata? Do they have notochord? No? Stomochord, like a primitive notochord. Don't write it now. That information is not available here. Let us wait for that. Okay. Now, as we move ahead, reading through all the different phyla, I want you to make another framework for comparison. Same phyla will remain. Not this now, for another table. We will have digestion, respiration, circulation, excretion, nervous system, reproduction. Digestion, respiration, circulation, excretion, nervous system, and reproduction. As we read, this you will make note. Okay, done. One more table, same phyla, special structures, special mechanisms, examples. Only three columns for every phyla. Special structures, special mechanisms, and third column would be examples. Special structures, special mechanisms, examples. That's all. These three tables should have everything that you have to know for exams from this chapter on animal kingdom. Done? You have the empty table now? I will read. Pay attention as you capture something, as you gather some point, put it in the table at the relevant place. We will start. If we don't get to add something from the for a particular phylum from the NCERT book, we will keep it empty for now. We'll keep it empty for now. All right. As you do retrospective learning, or when you look at it from just to pick up that point, you can go into reference books and find out and pull it out and put it in your notes. Okay, we will start. The important characteristic features of the different phyla are described. Phylum Porifera. Members of this phylum are commonly known as sponges. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animals. These are primitive multicellular animals and have cellular level of organization. Sponges have a water transport or canal system. Where will you put this? Special mechanism. Water transport or canal system. Water enters through minute pores, ostia, in the body wall into a central cavity, spongocele, from where it goes out through the osculum. You can add it into special structures if you want. You can, there only in bracket you can write for water canal system, ostia, spongocele, osculum. Ostia hyphen spongocele hyphen osculum. These three are associated with the water canal system. No? This pathway of water transport is helpful in food gathering, respiratory exchange of gametes. So in reproduction again you can write asexual fragmentation, sexual gamete formation. Fertilization is internal and development is indirect, having a larval stage which is morphologically distinct from the adult. Internal fertilization, indirect development. In reproduction, these are the points: internal fertilization, indirect development. That's all. Examples: Sycon, Spongilla, Euspongia. Sycon, Spongilla, Euspongia. Phylum Coelenterata or Cnidaria. They are aquatic, mostly marine, sessile or free swimming. Radially symmetrical animals, Coelenterata or Cnidaria. The name Cnidaria is derived from the cnidoblasts or cnidocytes, which contain the stinging capsules or nematocysts. present on the tentacles of the body. Stinging cells, nidoblasts or nidocytes. Nidoblasts are used for anchorage, defense, and for the capture of prey. Cnidarians exhibit tissue level of organization and are diploblastic. Tissue level of organization and diploblastic. They have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single opening, mouth or hypostome. Digestion is extracellular and intracellular. Poriferans have intracellular digestion. Here they have intracellular as well as extracellular digestion. So that's an advancement, evolutionary advancement in digestive process. Some of the cnidarians, example corals, have a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. Cnidarians exhibit two basic body forms called polyp and medusa. Polyp and medusa, special structures. Polyp and medusa, two types of body forms, polyp and medusa. The former is a sessile and cylindrical form like hydra, adamsia, etc., whereas the latter is umbrella shaped and free swimming like aurelia or jellyfish. Those cnidarians which exist in both forms exhibit alternation of generation or metagenesis, special mechanism. Metagenesis or alternation of generation. That is, polyps produce medusae asexually and medusa form the polyps sexually. Right? Do you want me to give time for you to write? So you finish off here only, or we will read and appreciate these points, and then during your study time you fill up that. Better, no? If you know how to appreciate these points, I will point out to these points, and while you do your self study, then you can just pull out the relevant things and put it into the table. That would be better, so that when I am discussing, we will get to discuss more. Alright? Otherwise, half of the time will go in writing. We will have more discussion. You will get the framework of how to put it into notes. Then you do it as you are doing it by yourselves. See here, you look at the evolutionary advancement. Sponges, they have this spongocele or the cavity through which water flows. They are arranging themselves. The cells are arranged themselves in the form of that structure, ostia, osculum, and the spongocele in between. As water flows from one end to the other end of this structure, it flows through the inside of this sponge body. All the cells will get exposed to it. See, cells that are externally positioned. If I consider this as the sponge body, fixed, maybe there are ostia and osculum. There is a cavity inside also. So let us assume it this way. Hollow inside. Water flows. Nothing else is happening. Water flows. There are cells all around. All of these are filled with cells. When water is flowing through these cavities inside the body, the cells adjacent to that are capable of picking up whatever they want. So ultimately they want food. All the cells require food. There is no digestive system. So what do? They will pick up the small food material and into the cell. How do they take food into the cell? Phagocytosis. Phagocytosis is the mechanism. They will capture the food, they will take it into the cell, digest within the cell. For that, the cell has to come in contact with food. How do you ensure the cell comes in contact with food? Those on the outer side of the body, those on the outside in contact with water, have access to food in the surroundings. But there are some cells internally positioned also. So they need to get food. They need to get oxygen. They need to throw out their wastes as well. So even though they don't have a mechanism of doing it internally for everybody, they have created a mechanism of letting water flow through the body. And cells will capture whatever they want. So a primitive form of staying together and ensuring that all of them get access to everything that they want from the external surroundings only. Alright, nobody is processing the food into nutrients and making it available for all the cells. But all the cells are designed, they are all organized in such a way that they get exposed to nutrients, not food. And if they are capable of pulling it and picking it up and using it, they do it. That's all. And cell to cell transport also can happen. One cell to another cell, transportation, exchange of matter can happen. Simple way of organizing. Then you move forward. When you move to Coelenterata, they have both internal as well as external digestion. So they have organized a little bit more. Got it? Examples in this have got a lot of common names. Portuguese man of war, Physalia, sea anemone, Adamsia, sea pen, Pennatula, sea fan, Gorgonium, brain coral, Meandrinum. All right? Which of the following is brain coral? Some 4 names can be given. So wherever these special names and all those are given, try to remember that. There is no logic to remember it. You have to remember it by repetitive revision. That's all. If you put it in one place, then it becomes easy for you to remember. Mouth or the gastrovascular cavity. See, gastrovascular cavity. Coelentrates have gastrovascular cavity. That is a special structure. What is gastrovascular cavity? A cavity in which both food and the circulatory fluid circulates within the body. What do the sponges have? What system? Water canal system. This is the water canals within the body. Gastrovascular cavity, a little bit advanced. Got it? Polyp and medusa are the 2 forms. Okay, which one is asexually reproducing among the polyp and medusa? Polyp reproduces asexually, medusa reproduces sexually. That's all. Okay. Corals are coelentrates. Next, phylum Ctenophora, comb jellies. Cnidarians are, or Coelenterata is jellyfishes, those jellies. Ctenophores, commonly known as sea walnuts or comb jellies, are exclusively marine, radially symmetrical, diploblastic organisms with tissue level of organization. We get all our points for the table. The body bears 8 external rows of ciliated comb plates which help in locomotion. Digestion is both extracellular and intracellular. Bioluminescence, the property of a living organism to emit light, is well marked in ctenophores. Bioluminescence becomes a question. Okay. They may not ask you directly as to which phylum exhibits bioluminescence. They can give you examples. Okay. Pleurobrachia, Ctenoplana are the examples given here for Ctenophora. So, along with Pleurobrachia, there might be some 2 or 3 examples given from Coelenterata and asked which of the following exhibits bioluminescence. So, being aware of the examples for a particular phylum, there will be thousands of them for each phylum. Let us remember those 2, 3, 4, whatever is given for the phyla here. Sexes are not separate. When we say sexes are not separate, what does it mean? They are also hermaphrodite. Fertilization is external with indirect development. External fertilization, indirect development, same as Coelenterata. Phylum Platyhelminthes. They have dorso-ventrally flattened body, hence are called flatworms. These are mostly endoparasites found in animals including human beings. Flatworms are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and acoelomate animals with organ level of organization. Hooks and suckers are present in the parasitic forms. Hooks and suckers are special structures. You have to specifically note it in the relevant section of your table. Some of them absorb nutrients from the host directly through their body surface. See, as we are reading, in your book you can just mark those points which will help you put in, complete your table. Don't paint it. Just mark the relevant points that will help you complete your table quickly. Specialized cells called flame cells help in osmoregulation and excretion. Flame cells are kind of the primitive excretory organs found in platyhelminthes. All the structure, all the cells or structures associated with excretion can be clustered together, and odd man out kind of questions will come. Okay. Sexes are not separate. Again, hermaphrodite. Fertilization is internal and development is through many larval stages. Advancement, reproductive advancement. In Coelenterata and Ctenophora, fertilization was external. Here, platyhelminthes go beyond that and they are able to do fertilization internally. Internal fertilization improves the chances of fertilization. Survivability is more. Survivability is more with internal development. Larval stages also, evolution of larval stages also is a survival strategy, helps in survival of the embryo better. Some members like planaria possess high regeneration capacity. Examples are Taenia, tapeworm, fasciola, liver fluke. Phylum Aschelminthes. The body of the Aschelminthes is circular in cross section, hence the name roundworms. They may be free living, aquatic and terrestrial or parasitic in plants and animals. Roundworms have organ system level of body organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and pseudocoelomate. Alright. So far there was no coelom. Till platyhelminthes, no coelom. Aschelminthes, pseudocoelom. Beyond that, all of them are eucoelomate. They are true coeloms. Platyhelminthes, what level of organization? Organ level of organization. Coelenterata and Ctenophora, tissue level organization. Porifera, cellular level organization. See, in each parameter they are evolving. Beyond that, beyond platyhelminthes, it's all organ system level organization. Everybody will have organ system level organization beyond that. So that level of organization maturity came there. But beyond this, for all those who have organ system level of organization, the complexity of organs will keep changing from phylum to phylum. All of them will not have the same kind of digestive mechanism. The complexity of organ systems will become better and better as you go to higher and higher phyla, evolutionarily higher phyla. Right. When you read like this from text, you will understand that. But when you tabulate it, the table will give you perspective. You can see all of them evolving in all these parameters. You can go further deep into making these tables, but let us stick to NCERT, make these 3 tables first and build additional points on this. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and pseudocoelomate animals. Alimentary canal is complete with a well-developed muscular pharynx. An excretory tube removes body waste from the body cavity through the excretory pore. Sexes are separate. Now you have dioecious animals. Hermaphroditism is transcended and dioecious reproductive structures are developing. Sexes are separate, that is male and females are distinct. Often females are longer than males. Fertilization is internal and development may be direct or indirect. What do you mean by direct development and indirect development?
Offspring resemble the parents.
If there are larval stages, is it direct or indirect? Indirect. So human development is direct development or indirect development? Direct development. Reproduction in humans is internal fertilization, internal development and direct development. All 3. Fertilization, whether it is internal or external. Embryonic development, whether it is internal or external. And the kind of development, direct or indirect. These are the 3 parameters you have to look at when you are looking at reproduction. Example, Ascaris, roundworm, Wuchereria, filarial worm, Ankylostoma, hookworm. All 3 are important because all 3 are associated with human diseases. Roundworm infestation, Ascaris lumbricoides, roundworm infestation can lead to problems. All right. Have you seen that video some time ago? It used to be circulated on WhatsApp. Don't eat Hakka noodles. It will not get digested. It will be stuck in the intestine, and some surgery video is shown. Have you seen that? Those are not Hakka noodles, roundworms. Okay. We have internet connection, no, for this? Do we have internet connection for this? Do you want to see roundworm infestation? No? It will take time to get started. Okay. It is starting now. It's started. Till it starts. See, the spores of these roundworms will be, you will get it from contaminated food and water. Roundworms grow with, roundworm infestation, they are endoparasites, they go and they form balls of roundworms. Roundworms have a tendency to remain together. They will make a ball. They make a ball because it makes it easier for them to stop the food from flowing down easily or from in the intestines. So if they are able to hold the food, they are able to get more food. All right. Ankylostoma hookworm. Hookworm infestation is a cause of anemia. They will get attached in the stomach. Hookworms will attach in the stomach and they will cause bleeding, small micro bleeding in the stomach, leading to anemia. And filariasis, Wuchereria bancrofti, that causes filariasis, elephant foot disease. That is filariasis. The filarial worms do that. All right. What is happening? Yeah. A good video to watch before you go for break. It is no longer trending, so I think this one. That is intestine. That is intestine, small intestine. Roundworms are being removed from the small intestine. We will play it again. See? It causes intestinal obstruction. Look how many worms are there. They are not microscopic. They are big worms only. Alright, so be very careful. Contaminated food and water can cause intestinal obstruction. So why, this was a random thing, but all three are important examples. You have to remember them. All three are associated with diseases. Phylum Annelida. They may be aquatic or terrestrial, free living and sometimes parasitic. They exhibit organ system level of body organization and bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic, metamerically segmented and coelomate animals. Their body surface is distinctly marked out into segments or metameres, and hence the phylum name Annelida. Annulus in Latin means ring, little ring. They possess longitudinal and circular muscles which help in locomotion. Aquatic annelids like Nereis possess lateral appendages, parapodia, which help in swimming. Nereis and parapodia. That association you should remember. See here, learn the things from the point of view of exams. Alright, whatever the basic principles of classification I discussed, evolutionary relationships, evolutionary patterns, that you remember as the basis of understanding. Pull out those things which can be questions in exams, and I have given you 3 table formats to fill it up. You should be more than prepared for any question that comes from this. Nereis and parapodia. Parapodia are lateral appendages which help in swimming. A closed circulatory system is present. So far, circulatory system was not reflected, mentioned. Open circulatory system was present earlier. Here a closed circulatory system is present. Annelids are the first organisms with closed circulatory system evolving. Nephridia help in osmoregulation and excretion. So one more cell that we saw for excretion was flame cells. Flame cells in platyhelminthes. Now in annelids, we are looking at nephridia. Nephridia help in osmoregulation and excretion. Neural system consists of paired ganglia. Here we are seeing the formation of ganglion. Paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves to a double ventral nerve cord. Double ventral nerve cord is characteristic of annelids. Double ventral nerve cord, lateral nerves and ganglia. It's like a ladder. Nereis, an aquatic form, is dioecious, but earthworms and leeches are monoecious. Reproduction is sexual. No more asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, but it is both hermaphroditic as well as dioecious. Dioecious and monoecious. Earthworm and leeches are monoecious. Nereis is dioecious. Example, Nereis. Ferretima, earthworm, important. Hirudinaria, leech. Hirudinaria is leech. It has medicinal significance also. Leeches are used for treatment, for sucking out the pus or fluid accumulated in the different parts of the body. They will put leeches on those swellings, and leeches will suck out the fluid from the swelling. Why isn't it better to just puncture it and draw the fluid from the syringes? Take out the fluid from syringe. Why leech? Think. All right. Correct. No, you have syringes. You have a needle. A small puncture into that cavity. Draw out whatever you want to draw out. Leeches also will draw out, suck out the blood or toxic blood or pus or whatever. You can do that by using syringes also. Why leech? Is there any importance or significance for that? Think as we take a 10-minute break. Okay. When we come back, we will try to complete as much as possible. I think without other than vertebrates, everything else can be completed. We will see. Come. All 4 are important. You need to remember examples for each of them. Gills, book lungs or tracheal system. So special structures. They are all special structures. Questions have come on that. Book gills. Okay. Circulatory system is of open type. See, annelids have what kind of circulatory system? Closed type of circulatory system. Arthropods are evolutionarily higher in terms of evolution, but circulatory system, they have closed type, open type of circulatory system. Sensory organs like antennae, eyes, compound and simple, statocysts or balancing organs are present. Excretion takes place through Malpighian tubules. This is the third one now. Flame cells, nephridia, malpighian tubules for excretion. They are mostly dioecious. Fertilization is usually internal. They are mostly oviparous. Mostly oviparous. So that means there are exceptions to that. Mostly dioecious means somebody is monoecious also. Fertilization is usually internal means sometimes it can be external also. Mostly oviparous means some of them might be viviparous also. Which are they? Let's see, if you find some question where that is highlighted, note it down, otherwise let it be. Development may be direct or indirect. Examples, economically important insects, apis, honeybee, bombyx, silkworm, lacifer, lac insect. Vectors. Vectors are vehicles for diseases, Anopheles, culex and Aedes mosquito. Anopheles, culex and Aedes mosquito associated with what diseases? Anopheles is associated with malaria, culex, filariasis, Aedes, dengue. Dengue and chikungunya, both are Aedes. Which one is a day biter of the three? Which one is day biter? Mosquitoes are mostly evening biters. They bite in the evenings and in the night. One of these three is a day biter. Aedes aegypti is a day biter. So it will bite during the daytime. Mosquito protection is not only, you should not have mosquito protection only in the night. In the daytime also you have to be conscious. Okay. Gregarious pests, locusts, locusta. Locusts are pests. Locust infestation, you see, you see them going on the streets or roads also. Sometimes locust pests. Living fossil, king crab, limulus. All these examples are important. Remember the examples. Mollusca, second largest animal phylum. Mollusks are terrestrial or aquatic. When they are aquatic, it can be marine or freshwater, having an organ system level of organization, bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and coelomate animals. Body is covered by a calcareous shell. Arthropods, they have an exoskeleton made up of chitin. Chitin is exoskeleton. Molluscans have calcareous shell means what? Shell made up of calcium compounds. And is unsegmented with a distinct head, muscular foot and visceral hump. A soft and spongy layer of skin forms a mantle over the visceral hump. The space between the hump and the mantle is called the mantle cavity, in which feather-like gills are present. Feathery gills are a characteristic of mollusca. Book gills are a characteristic of arthropoda. They have respiratory and excretory functions. The gill's mantle cavity has excretory and respiratory functions. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles. Mouth contains a file-like rasping organ for feeding called radula. Special organ, that is, special structure is radula. They are usually dioecious and oviparous with indirect development. Apple snail, phyla, pinctada, pearl oyster, sepia, cuttlefish, loligo, squid, octopus, devilfish, Aplysia, sea hare, Dentalium, tusk shell, Phytoplura, chiton. All of these with some unique names given to it should remember. How you remember it? You have to. I can't remember. You come and ask me what is sea hare. Not possible for me to remember. I can't remember names and dates. Two important qualifications to maintain good friendships. You have to remember the names and you have to remember dates, their birthdays, their important dates and all. Unfortunately, I have a limitation in remembering both. I will know the entire story of my friends, but names I manage somehow. Okay. Echinodermata, spiny skinned animals. These animals have an endoskeleton of calcareous ossicles and hence the name echinodermata. Spiny bodied animals. All are marine with organ system level of organization. The adult echinoderms are radially symmetrical, but larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. Dual symmetry. The special characteristic of echinodermats are they have a dual symmetry. Larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. The adults are radially symmetrical. If we see which one is evolutionarily primitive? Radial symmetry or bilateral symmetry? Radial symmetry is evolutionarily primitive. But here adults are radially symmetrical, larvae is bilaterally symmetrical. Alright. They are triploblastic and coelomate animals. Digestive system is complete with mouth on the lower or the ventral side and anus on the upper side, dorsal side. The most distinctive feature of echinoderms is the presence of water vascular system. We have two systems like that for circulation. One is in the sponges, water canal system. Here it is water vascular system. Water canal system is mostly passive system. It will just allow water to pass through it. Canals are unregulated there. Ostium, osculum are the pores through which it will allow water to flow. There is no regulation of water flow in the sponges, poriferans. But here echinodermata, water vascular system is used for locomotion also. They are used for locomotion, that is used for cleaning up the body surface. They create pressure jets. They can regulate the flow of water within the water vascular system to bring about directional movement. So we will see. Which helps in locomotion, capture and transport of food and respiration. An excretory system is absent. You see so many primitive features are there here. Echinodermata, the earlier ones, flame cells are present in Platyhelminthes. Nephridia are present in Ashhelminthes roundworms. Then we have Malpighian tubules in Arthropoda. But these fellows don't have an excretory system at all. Sexes are separate, reproduction is sexual, fertilization is external. Again a primitive feature. Fertilization is external, development is indirect with free swimming larvae. So many primitive features are found in this. Examples: starfish, asterias, echinus, sea urchin, antedon, sea lily, cucumeria, sea cucumber, and ophiura, brittle star. Cocomara. Cucumeria, Cocomara. Cocomara. Where do you get this? Huh? Not cocomelon, Cocomara, that coconut kind of monsters. Coconut monsters, Cocomara. Moana, you remember?
Yes.
Their boat gets attacked by Cocomara ships. I love those Cocomaras. So, such beautiful creatures, but they are very monsters. You see that, have you seen Moana movie?
Yes.
She looks at them and says they are cute, and then they paint their face to look monstrous. Cocomara. This is not Cocomara, this is Cucumeria. Sea cucumber. The phylum Hemichordata. Hemichordata was earlier considered as a subphylum under Chordata, but now it is placed as a separate phylum under non-Chordata. Hemichordates have a rudimentary structure in the collar region called stomochord, a structure similar to notochord. This phylum consists of a small group of worm-like marine animals with organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and coelomate animals. The body is cylindrical and is composed of an anterior proboscis, a collar and a long trunk. Proboscis is like the mouth. Circulatory system is of open type again. Open circulation. Okay. See, circulation, closed and open circulation. You have to cluster the organisms based on that. You have to know which all have open circulatory system. So on the basis of circulatory system, nature of the circulatory system, questions can come. Just in this chapter, questions will come in a way where you will have to identify some differences between the given things, examples, that's all. Sexes are separate, fertilization is external, development is indirect. Example, melanoglossus, sarcoglossus. Phylum Chordata. Animals belonging to phylum Chordata are fundamentally characterized by the presence of a notochord, a dorsal hollow nerve cord, and a paired pharyngeal gill slits. These are bilaterally symmetrical triploblastic coelobate with organ system level of organization. They possess a post-anal tail and a closed circulatory system. These are the characteristics of chordates. Three important characters: notochord, pharyngeal gill slits, and nerve cord. Hollow nerve cord. Hollow nerve cord is our vertebral column. Notochord is not vertebral column. You should be clear about that. Notochord is not vertebral column. Notochord is a structure that develops during the embryonic development, which will contribute to a few important developmental milestones. One, it will fix the axis for the body. Notochord will fix the axis for the body, dorsum and ventral. Notochord is towards the dorsal side of the body. So, dorsum and ventral is fixed. Notochord will help in fixing the anterior-posterior axis also. Anteriorly, it will contribute to the development of the brain, and extending along the notochord will be the vertebral column. It will act as an axis for the development of vertebral column. Okay, all these three. It will help in fixing the anteroposterior axis. It will help in fixing the dorsoventral axis, and it will also help in the development of the vertebral column. This is the function of notochord. So notochord can be considered as something that will direct the development of the nervous system. Alright. Then pharyngeal gill slits, nerve cord. Nerve cord is the vertebral column. Rest all done. Post-anal tail and a closed circulatory system. Comparison of salient features of chordates and non-chordates. Notochord present, notochord absent. Central nervous system is dorsal, hollow and single. Central nervous system is ventral, solid and double in non-chordates. Pharynx perforated by gill slits. Gill slits are absent. Heart is ventral, heart is dorsal, if at all it is present. Post-anal tail is present, post-anal tail is absent. The coccyx bone that we have in our spinal vertebral column is the tail bone. That will be the one which will form the axis for the tail. So wagging of the tail happens at the joint. The animals with the tail, they are sacrococcygeal joint, the joint between the sacrum and coccyx. Movement at that joint is what causes wagging of the tail. Like this, if this is the tail, there is a joint here. There are muscles attached to that. So tail is that. Phylum Chordata is divided into three subphyla: Urochordata or Tunicata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. Subphyla Urochordata and Cephalochordata are often referred to as protochordates and are exclusively marine. In Urochordata, notochord is present only in the larval tail, while in Cephalochordata it extends from head to tail region and is persistent throughout their life. Protochordates are the ones with persistent notochord. In Urochordata, only in the tail region there is the persistence of notochord. In Cephalochordata, throughout the length of the dorsal region, notochord will persist. But for all the other organisms in the chordata, or euchordata or cephalo and vertebrata, there is no persistence of notochord. Notochord will degenerate once it fixes the axis. Once the vertebral column starts developing, notochord will degenerate. Urochordata examples: Acidia, Salpa, Doliolum. Cephalochordata, Branchiostoma, Amphiolux or landslide. Branchiostoma is a question. The members of subphylum Vertebrata possess notochord during the embryonic period, not beyond that. The notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or bony vertebral column in the adult. Does that mean notochord becomes the vertebral column? It is replaced by the vertebral column. Notochord will no longer cease to exist. It will degenerate, and in its place, vertebral column is formed. Can be cartilaginous or bony. Presence of this vertebral column is the characteristic feature of all the animals belonging to the subphyla Vertebrata. Thus, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Besides the basic chordate characters, vertebrates have a ventral muscular heart with 2, 3 or 4 chambers, kidneys for excretion and osmoregulation, and paired appendages which may be fins or limbs. So vertebrates further classified based on whether they have jaw or no jaw. Gnatha, gnathos is jaw. Agnatha is no jaw. Cyclostomata. Rest all are gnathostomata. They have jaws. They bear jaws. Superclass Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces bear fins. Tetrapods bear limbs. In that you have cartilaginous fish, Chondrichthyes, and bonificious Osteichthyes. Then in tetrapods you have Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, Mammalia. For vertebrates alone, for vertebrata alone, you have to make a table. You have to make a comparative chart for vertebrates. All the systems wise. Alright. All the system wise you make comparative chart. Differences you have to bring out more. Class Cyclostomata. All living members of the class Cyclostomata are ectoparasites on some fishes. They have an elongated body bearing 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. Cyclostomes have a sucking and circular mouth without jaws. See, we have seen parasites coming from the lower phyla. Parasites coming from the lower phyla. But you have to remember, among the chordates also, we have parasites which are cyclostomes. Cyclostomata, they are all parasites on fishes. Parasites on fishes. What is the difference between parasitic form of nutrition and saprotropic form of nutrition? What is the difference between parasitic mode of nutrition and saprotropic form of nutrition or saprophytic nutrition?
Parasite takes nutrition from living organisms.
Parasites draw nourishment from living organisms. They extract nutrients from the living organisms by gaining access to the source of nourishment. Mosquito is a parasite. Mosquito is a parasite. Is it? Can we consider mosquito to be a parasite? Do they draw blood for their food? Are female mosquitoes biting to get food? They are biting to get, they are taking blood for completing their reproduction. So should we consider them parasites or not? Then what are they? What do you refer to the blood-sucking nature of theirs? The question extends. Is it only taking nourishment that should be considered parasitism? Parasitism is what kind of interaction? Is it a positive interaction or a negative interaction? Positive interaction. Huh? Positive, negative. Positive for the parasite and negative for the host. Positive for the parasite and negative for the host. Can the mosquito come and tell you, I am not taking your blood for food, I need to reproduce, that is why I need your blood. You have to please adjust. Can you tell that? Whatever the reason you are sucking my blood, you are causing me harm. Parasitism is mosquito is also parasite. Mosquito is also a parasite there. Whatever is the reason for which you are depending on somebody else's body, that is parasitism only. Somebody might be depending on the other's body for taking food or taking blood for reproduction, whatever it is. Okay. So anybody, what should be your approach towards parasites? Should you think about the reason why the parasite is sucking your blood and then decide which one is a good parasite or a bad parasite? Can you do that? There are organisms which will take things from another's body. Like there are some birds which will take food from the mouth of crocodiles. Can we call them parasites? You have seen that, no? Some small birds are there. The crocodile will keep its mouth open. The birds will take meat from the teeth of the crocodile. Is it parasitism? That is also taking from it. There are some small birds which will pick up insects from the cattle's body. They will go there, they will pick up insects from the cattle's body. They are eating the parasites. So, but the parasites were present on the cow's body, on the cattle's body. Do you consider those birds also as parasites? No. So parasitism is when you are taking something from another organism at the cost of the other organism, causing harm to the other organism. That is a parasite, that is parasitism. There is an interaction between two species where you are benefiting at the cost of somebody else. That is parasitism. And you do not have any reason to try and justify parasitism. If you look at parasitism from the social context, what do you call people who siphon off money that is meant for public welfare? Social parasites. Corruption is parasitism. Bribery is parasitism. You are not supposed to do that, whatever may be the reason, but if you do it, you are a parasite. And for parasitism, do you look at options? Do you look at the reasons for doing that? You know what? I have cancer. I need to get treated. Otherwise I'll die. That is why I take bribes. I take bribes, but what do I do with that? I go and donate it somewhere. Sounds a strong reason to do it. Sounds like a strong reason to do it. Suddenly the Robin Hood gets activated. Correct, no? Taking from the people who have it and giving it to the people who don't have it. When it comes to social interactions, it becomes more complex. So you have to be very clear with your framework of operation, your value framework for operating socially. Otherwise, it is very easy to become corrupted. Very difficult to say no to corruption in spite of a million temptations that you will get on a daily basis. If you are in power, if you have access to power, and if you have access to public resources, you will have 1,000 reasons to use that inappropriately. But the only reason to not use that should be your strength of character. Anyways, parasites should be eliminated. Parasites in power should be eliminated from access to power, not eliminated like mosquitoes. Okay, don't misquote. Okay. Cyclostomes have a sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Their body is devoid of scales and paired fins. Cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. Cranium is the skull. Cartilaginous. Circulation is of closed type. Cyclostomes are marine but migrate for spawning to fresh water. What is spawning? What is spawning?
Reproduction.
Reproduction is okay.
Migration to fresh water.
No, not migration. They are migrating for spawning. Then how can spawning be migration? They are migrating for migration. What is spawning?
Releasing of offspring.
Not offspring, basically releasing the eggs or the fertilized eggs, embryos. After spawning, within a few days they die. Their larvae after metamorphosis return to the ocean. Okay? It's like they live in the ocean. They live in the ocean. They have a battle there. They are fighting for resources. They appear to be defeated. They get out of that place. The competitors here will feel, we have eliminated them. They have gone completely forever. They go to fresh water, spawn, and tell the young ones that you have to get back to the ocean and reclaim your place in history. And they die. This larvae develop, and after they develop, suddenly they remember, mother had told, I have to get back to ocean, and they get back to the ocean. Okay. See some very peculiar characteristics. Probably the larvae may not be the larvae might not survive the marine environment. So larvae requires fresh water for their development. That is why these cyclostomes have developed the ability. They have developed it evolutionarily. They know they have to go to fresh water. They go to fresh water for spawning. When that is complete, larvae needs fresh water for development, but the adults are marine organisms. Adults are marine organisms. Probably they will not have enough energy to get back to the ocean, and that completes their life there. Fresh water is not a good place for the adults to survive. Marine water is not good for the larvae to survive. So the adult female goes to fresh water, spawns and dies. The larvae develops in fresh water and gets back to the ocean. Life has its own way of ensuring that survival happens. Examples: Petromyzon, lamprey and myxine, hagfish. Chondrichthyes, class Chondrichthyes, that is Chondrichthyes is a reference to cartilaginous fishes. They are marine animals with streamlined body and have cartilaginous endoskeleton. Mouth is located ventrally. Remember shark for Chondrichthyes, cartilaginous fishes, shark. Mouth is ventral, below. Notochord is persistent throughout life. Gill slits are separate and without operculum. Gill slits are separate and without operculum. Operculum is gill cover. The skin is tough, containing minute placoid scales. Teeth are modified placoid scales which are backwardly directed. Their jaws are very powerful. These animals are predaceous. Predaceous means they are predatory in nature. They will attack the others for their food. Due to the absence of air bladder, they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. They have to swim constantly to avoid sinking because they do not have an air bladder. Heart is two-chambered, one auricle and one ventricle. Some of them have electric organs, example torpedo, and some possess poison sting, example trigon. They are cold-blooded, poikilothermous animals. That is, they lack the capacity to regulate their body temperature. Sexes are separate. In males, pelvic fins bear claspers. They have internal fertilization and many of them are viviparous. Viviparous is, they give birth to young ones. Examples, Scoliodon, dog. Is absent in cartilaginous fishes. Buoyancy is present in bony fishes. Buoyancy is because of the air bladder. Heart is two-chambered again. They are cold-blooded animals. All of those are common things. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is usually external. Cartilaginous fishes give rise to the young ones. Development is internal. Fertilization is internal. Development is internal. And they give birth to young ones, viviparous. Bony fishes lay eggs. They are mostly oviparous and development is direct. No larval stage. Do cartilaginous fishes have larval stage? Well, what is the nature of development there? Direct or indirect? Direct only. They also don't have larval stage. Examples: marine, Exoxetus, flying fish, hippocampus, seahorse, freshwater labio, rohu, katla, clarias, magur, aquarium, betta, fighting fish, Pterophyllum, angelfish. Okay. Already there are some 20-25 of these kind of names to be merged. Okay. You have to make a list of all the animals with those special names. Portuguese man of war, that fish, this fish. So all of that you have to make a list of it, and whenever you get bored, just recall. Go through that. Class Amphibia, as the name indicates, amphibians can live in aquatic as well as terrestrial habitats. Most of them have two pairs of limbs. Body is divisible into head and trunk. Tail may be present in some. The amphibian skin is moist without scales. The eyes have eyelids. A tympanum represents the ear. Tympanum is a membrane for frogs. They represent the ear. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts open into a common chamber called cloaca. So here amphibians have cloaca. Cloaca is a common opening for three tubes: digestive tube, respiratory tube and urinary tube. So feces, urine and reproductive cells are passage that is common for all the three. Cloaca, which opens to the exterior. Respiration is by gills, lungs and through skin, moist skin. The heart is three-chambered. So fishes have two-chambered heart. Amphibians have three-chambered heart. Reptiles have three-chambered, but crocodile incompletely four-chambered. So if it is three-chambered, which part is a single chamber? Upper chamber or lower chamber? Atrium or ventricle? Ventricle. Ventricle is single chamber. In three-chambered heart, two atrium and one ventricle. In incompletely four-chambered, the ventricles also start getting separated, but it is not completely separated. Then mammals, completely four-chambered heart. So it completely separates the deoxygenated blood from oxygenated blood, making it easier for making the circulation more efficient. Heart is three-chambered. These are cold-blooded animals. So far, all of them are cold-blooded fishes and amphibians. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external. They are oviparous and development is indirect. Development is indirect. That means they have a larval stage. Earlier questions used to come on different types of larvae. You are supposed to know what are the different types of larvae and which animal has which kind of larva. Fortunately now that has been removed and questions are not coming anymore on the different types of larvae. Alright. Designing exams is very challenging. Many times you will feel, why should these things be a part of the entrance exam, which will test the aptitude for getting into medicine? Why do you have to have so much of physics, so much of chemistry? Chemistry fine, because understanding chemistry is necessary to understand biology. But physics also becomes relevant because a doctor is supposed to have a logical aptitude, ability to understand technology, ability to understand the physical processes, physical laws and rules. So as you move forward, when you go higher into your medical learning also, a lot of physics principles also apply. So you need to have a little bit of physical understanding of physics, some mathematical ability, though you may not need so much of mathematical aptitude to become a doctor. So exams are designed well only. They are designed well. How it is managed and how it is manipulated, all of those are different issues, but exams are designed well. Examples of amphibians: buffo, toad; rana, tigress; frog; hyla, kiwi frog; salamander, ichthyopus; limbless amphibia. Reptilia. The class name refers to their creeping or crawling mode of locomotion. Latin rapier or reptum, to creep or crawl. They are mostly terrestrial animals and their body is covered by dry and cornified skin. Cornified skin means what? Keratinized skin. Lot of keratin deposits. Epidermal scales or scutes. They do not have external ear openings. Tympanum represents the ear. Limbs when present are two pairs. Heart is usually three chambered but four chambered in crocodiles. Reptiles are poikilotherms. What are poikilotherms? Cold blooded. So far for the other three, they mentioned cold blooded animals. Suddenly here they are telling poikilotherms. You could have mentioned in the beginning only, poikilotherms in bracket you can say cold blooded animals. Reptiles are cold blooded. What is the advantage of being cold blooded? You can kill easily. Cold blooded murderers. Okay. Oh, is there any advantage of being cold blooded?
Can live inside the water.
Hmm?
Can live inside the water.
Can live
Inside the water.
inside water. Okay. Why? What will stop you from living inside water if you are warm blooded?
I mean, it's without naturally, so you can just live down.
What is whale?
I
Whale.
where is it now?
Mammal. Cold blooded or warm blooded?
But they just sleep on the surface.
See, warm blooded animals spend a lot of energy in maintaining homeostasis. Cold blooded animals just go with the flow. They can just align with the surroundings and adapt accordingly. They can go into hibernation. They can wait for there are disadvantages also, but the difference between warm-blooded animals and cold-blooded animals metabolically is cold-blooded animals don't have to spend too much energy to maintain that, maintain the equilibrium in temperature. The blood has to be maintained at a particular temperature, no? Otherwise, the body functions will not happen properly. So the range of operating conditions for cold-blooded animals in their organs is much wider than warm-blooded animals. Cannot say advantage or disadvantage for that. It's just the difference there. So they are not able to function when it is too cold outside. That's why they will have to hibernate. Warm-blooded animals are capable of functioning in a wide range of temperatures because physiologically they are capable of functioning in a wide range of temperature because they have an internal mechanism of keeping the internal temperature within the functional range. Cold-blooded animals cannot maintain the internal temperature within a functional range. So based on the external surroundings, their activity, physiological activity will be determined. Is that clear? Warm-blooded is better. Evolutionarily, warm-blooded organisms are better in their functioning, physiological functioning. You don't have to take a break physiologically to wait for conditions around you to improve. Snakes and lizards shed their scales as skin cast. Sexes are separate, fertilization is internal, they are oviparous and development is direct. Example, chelone turtle, testudo tortoise, chameleon tree lizard, calotis garden lizard, crocodilus crocodile, alligator hemidactylus wall lizard, poisonous snakes naja cobra, bungarus krait, vipera viper. Class aves. The characteristic feature of aves or birds are the presence of feathers, and most of them can fly except flightless birds like ostrich. They possess beak. The forelimbs are modified into wings. The hind limbs generally have scales and are modified for walking, swimming or clasping the tree branches. Skin is dry without glands except the oil gland at the base of the tail. Endoskeleton is fully ossified. Have you seen the birds? They will try to spread that oil gland secretions through the body. Have you seen that? The feathers, they'll rub against each other and all that. To spread this oil, the secretion of the oil gland on their surface, on the body, onto the feathers. Okay. The hind limbs generally have scales and are modified. That's the skin is dry without gland except the oil gland at the base of the tail. Endoskeleton is fully ossified, bony, and the long bones are hollow with air cavities, pneumatic bones. So air cavities we see in two organisms, Fishes have, what do they have? Air bladders, which will make them buoyant in water. Birds have air cavities, hollow bones. Hollow bones with air within the bones, which make the bones light. It provides the strength of the bone plus the lightness to fly. Air cavities. Pneumatic bones. The digestive tract of birds has additional chambers, the crop and gizzard. Crop and gizzard. Heart is completely four-chambered. They are homeothermic thermos animals, that is warm-blooded animals. They are able to maintain a constant body temperature. Respiration is by lungs. Air sacs connected to lungs supplement respiration. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous and development is direct. Example: corvus, crow; columba, pigeon; psittacula, parrot; shrutio, ostrich; pavo, peacock; aptenodytes, penguin; neophron, vulture. There is one animal which is going into extinction because of human hygiene. Which is that animal? Hygiene leading to the extinction of this animal. Vulture. Vultures would depend on what? Vultures, the dead animals would be the food for vultures. They are scavengers. So human hygiene will make sure that no dead animal is left out in the open for vultures to come and eat. You clear off their food. So vultures can't survive. Vultures are getting extinct because of humans becoming cleaner. Class Mammalium. They are found in a variety of habitats: polar ice caps, deserts, mountains, forests, grasslands and dark caves. Some of them have adapted to fly or live in water. The most unique mammalian characteristic is the presence of milk-producing glands or mammary glands, by which the young ones are nourished. They have two pairs of limbs adapted for walking, running, climbing, burrowing, swimming or flying. The skin of mammals is unique in possessing hair. External ears or pinnae are present. Different types of teeth are present in the jaw. Heart is four-chambered. You can just look at yourself, examples, for all these characteristics. They are homeothermous. Respiration is by lungs. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal, viviparous, with few exceptions, and development is direct. Examples: oviparous. See here, oviparous, ovoviviparous and viviparous. Oviparous is platypus, ornithorhynchus. Viviparous, kangaroo, marcopus, pteropus, flying fox, camelus, camel, macaca, monkey, ratus, rat, canis, dog, felis, cat, elephantus, elephant, equus, horse, delphinus, common dolphin, Balaenoptera, blue whale, Panthera tigris, tiger, Panthera leo, lion. Why only these many? They could have given another 100 names with all the common names and scientific names. Huh? I don't understand the need for remembering the scientific names. At least for plus 2 students. Anyways, we have to remember some of them. The salient distinguishing features of all phyla and rhizobium is comprehensively given in the table. See, level of organization, symmetry, coelom, segmentation, digestive system, circulatory system, respiratory system, distinctive features. All of that is given in one table here. We will make separate tables. Perspective based notes again. Systemic comparison is one table. Then characteristics, unique characteristics and all would be one table, and this one. So let us look at it here. Level of organization, you see porifera is cellular. This one table should give you the entire things to remember, except for special characteristics, special structures and examples which you have to make separate lists for. Porifera, cellular, Cnidaria and Ctenophora, tissue level organization. Platyhelminthes, organ and organ system. Beyond that, everybody is organ system level organization. Symmetry, porifera, non-specific symmetry. You cannot say asymmetrical You can say non-specific. Some of them might be symmetrical, some of them may not be. Only 3 are radial symmetry: coelenterata, ctenophora and echinodermata. All others are bilateral symmetry. Okay. So, when 3 particular phyla, 3 phyla have radial symmetry, that becomes a good, radial symmetry becomes a good point for question. Which of the following phyla do not have bilateral symmetry? Which of the following phyla do not have bilateral symmetry? Or pick the odd one from this. Coelenterata, ctenophora, platyhelminthes, echinodermata. Which one is the odd one? Platyhelminthes. On the basis of symmetry. But when you look at it, coelenterata, ctenophora, platyhelminthes are one after the other in the sequence of phyla that we list. Echinodermata comes somewhere later. If you are not aware, if students are not aware of the difference in symmetry there, the tendency would be to pick up echinodermata. Because these 3 are closer in terms of the phyla, in classification, they might have some similar characteristics. Echinodermata is far away, so it might not be. But that is not the case. Echinodermata has radial symmetry, platyhelminthes has bilateral symmetry. Coelom, porifera, coelenterata, ctenophora, platyhelminthes are all acoelomate. Nematodes or aschelminthes are pseudocoelomate. All others are eucoelomate or true coelom. Segmentation, except for Annelida, Arthropoda and Chordata, everybody else are unsegmented. There is no segmentation in anybody else. Platyhelminth, not platyhelminths, it is Annelida, Arthropoda and Chordata. Metameric segmentation is present in only Annelida. Only annelids have metameric segmentation. Digestive system, look at that. No digestive system in porifera. Incomplete digestive system in coelenterata, ctenophora and platyhelminthes. All others have complete digestive system. Incomplete digestive system means what?
Only one.
Only one pore. That is the mouth, that is the anus. Maybe they have a timing when it should function like mouth and when it should function like anus. Perfect. Do they have taste buds? They may not have taste buds. Okay. Taste buds is a higher. Taste buds is a function of what system? Taste buds help you to identify taste. Which system should be developed well for taste buds to be present in organisms? Nervous system. It is a function of nervous system evolution. It is sensing the chemical environment, identifying its characteristics and bringing about an interpretation of that and generating a response in terms of your liking or dislike towards it. So it's a nervous system function. Circulatory system begins from Annelida and rest all of them have circulatory system. But circulation all of them have. Circulation is present in all of them. So in your table you have to make note of how circulation happens. In the table I gave you, I did not write it as circulatory system. I gave it as circulation. How circulation happens? In poriferans, how circulation happens? Water canal system. In coelentrates and ctenophora, circulation is by gastrovascular cavity. Correct? In platyhelminthes, no specific structure has been mentioned, but there is a fluid. They are acoelomates, so there is no special cavity as such, but there is a fluid between the gut wall and the body wall. In aschelminthes, the pseudocoelom will help in the distribution of material. Beyond that, Annelida develops closed circulatory system. Echinodermata Do they have closed circulatory system? See, all of them have circulatory system beyond Annelida. Some of them have open circulatory system. Arthropoda, open circulatory system, like that. But circulation is present in everybody. All organisms have some mechanism for circulation. Circulatory system, like this. So you have to improvise on these tables. This table is okay, elementary. Respiratory system. So you tell me, which one is first in evolution, circulatory system or respiratory system?
Circulatory.
How do you say that?
Any leader circulatory system is present, but in respiratory system is present in arthropoda.
Nervous system?
Nervous system.
Further later. So, circulation becomes the initial development. Then respiration becomes more and more organized. So if you see that, circulatory system is present from Annelida onwards, but respiratory system is present from Arthropoda onwards. Distinctive features: body with pores and canals in walls, porifera. Coelenterata, nidoblasts are present. Ctenophora, comb plates for locomotion. Platyhelminthes, flat body, hookers and suckers, hooks and suckers. Achelminthes, Achelminthes, anything special? Females and males are distinct. The shape. Annelida, true segmentation, metameric segmentation. Body segments, so segmentation like rings. Arthropoda, exoskeleton of cuticle, jointed appendages. Mollusca, external skeleton of shell, usually present. Echinodermata, water vascular system, radial symmetry. Hemichordata, worm-like with proboscis, collar and trunk. Chordata, notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, gill slits with limbs or fins. So this is the comparative analysis given in your NCERT. I will just read the summary. Stop me if anything is not understood. When I read the summary, you should get an overview of the entire kingdom in your mind. You should be able to understand. You should feel that this is understood. The basic fundamental features such as level of organization, symmetry, cell organization, coelom, segmentation, notochord, etc. have enabled us to broadly classify the animal kingdom. Besides the fundamental features, there are many other distinctive characters which are specific for each phyla or class. Porifera includes multicellular animals which exhibit cellular level of organization and have characteristic flagellated choanocytes. The coelentrates have tentacles and bear nidoblasts. They are mostly aquatic, sessile or free-floating. The ctenophores are marine animals with comb plates. Platyhelminths have flat body and exhibit bilateral symmetry. The parasitic forms show distinct suckers and hooks. Achelminthes are pseudocoelomates and include parasitic as well as non-parasitic roundworms. Annelids are metamerically segmented animals with a true coelom. Arthropods are the most abundant group of animals characterized by the presence of jointed appendages. The mollusks have a soft body surrounded by an external calcareous shell. The body is covered with external skeleton made of chitin. What is special about this shell in mollusks? Under the shell, they have an important space which will help in respiration and excretion. What is that space called? Mantle cavity, which has feathery gills. So when you think of molluscan shell, you should know under that shell is the important structures. Under that shell you have the important structures. So you break the shell of the mollusk. If you break the shell of the mollusk, what will happen? The mollusk will die. If you break the shell of the snail dies because the important structures there will get damaged. The echinoderms possesses spiny skin. Their most distinctive feature is the presence of water vascular system. The hemichordates are a small group of worm-like marine animals. They have a cylindrical body with proboscis, collar and trunk. Phylum Chordata includes animals which possess a notochord either throughout or during early embryonic life. Other common features observed in the chordates are the dorsal hollow nerve cord and paired pharyngeal gill slits. Some of the vertebrates do not possess jaws. They are called agnatha, whereas most of them possess jaws, gnathostomata. Agnatha is represented by the class Cyclostomata. They are the most primitive chordates and are ectoparasites on fishes. Gnathostomata has two superclasses, Pisces and Tetrapoda. They have given a flowchart also for this classification of vertebrates or chordates in that particular section. Class Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes bear fins for locomotion and are grouped under Pisces. The Chondrichthyes are fishes with cartilaginous endoskeleton and are marine. Classes Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammalia have two pairs of limbs and are thus grouped under Tetrapoda. The amphibians have adapted to live both on land and water. Reptiles are characterized by the presence of dry and cornified skin. Limbs are absent in snakes. Fishes, amphibians and reptiles are poikilothermous. Aves are warm-blooded animals with feathers on their body and forelimbs modified into wings for flying. What is special about birds? The oil-secreting glands. Okay, the tail glands, oil-secreting glands. Hind limbs are adapted for walking, swimming, perching or clasping. The unique features of mammals are the presence of mammary glands and hairs on the skin. They commonly exhibit viviparity. So today itself, you complete those tables. Whatever tables you are supposed to complete, you complete it. But you will have to start revision from the last session, no? Then is the test, Thursday is the test. Thursday is the next test, so you will have to start revision from the last session. Before that, you complete this table. In the 2 to 4 session, you try to complete this table if you have not already made some plan for the 2 to 4 session. Okay? Should not take you more than 1 hour to complete the table. Pull out information from NCRT only to complete the table. Don't go to any other books. Alright?